In 1971, a graphic design student was paid $35 to design a logo. That logo went on to become one of the most recognized symbols on Earth. The company? Nike. And the student? She nearly didn't take the job. So why does a simple swoosh make billions of dollars worth of difference? The answer isn't about design. It's about psychology. But here's what nobody asks. Why? Why does a curved line make people feel something? Why do you trust a brand more? Because of its colors. Why do luxury brands charge 10 times more for a product that costs the same to make? The answer lies deep inside your brain, in a part that makes decisions before you're even aware you're deciding. But here's what nobody asks. Why? Why does a curved line make people feel something? Why do you trust a brand more? Because of its colors. Why do luxury brands charge 10 times more for a product that costs the same to make? The answer lies deep inside your brain, in a part that makes decisions before you're even aware you're deciding. Neuroscientists discovered something remarkable. The human brain processes a logo in just 13 milliseconds. That's faster than a blink. In that tiny moment, your brain has already made a judgment about quality, about trustworthiness, about status, not for facts, from shapes and colors alone. In the 1990s, McDonald's considered removing the golden arches from their restaurants, replacing them with a more modern design. Consumer testing nearly stopped them entirely. When people saw photos of restaurants without the arches, their reported hunger levels dropped by 20%. The arches weren't just decoration. They were triggering appetite. Color alone accounts for up to 90% of a snap judgment about a product. That's not a guess. That's from a study called Impact of Color in Marketing. Red creates urgency and appetite. It's why fast food chains use it. Blue signals trust and calm. It's why banks and hospitals choose it. Gold suggests wealth and exclusivity. It's why luxury brands never use red. In 1845, Tiffany and Company chose a specific shade of blue for their catalog cover. Not because it was beautiful, but because it was the color of a robin's egg, which in that era symbolized good fortune and fidelity. That color is now trademarked. Pantone 1837. No other company is legally allowed to use it in retail jewelry packaging. A color, owned, worth billions. There's a psychological principle called cognitive fluency. The easier your brain can process something, the more it trusts it. Complex logos make the brain work. Simple logos glide through. Apple, Nike, Mercedes, all geometric, all instantly recognizable, all designed to feel effortless, because effortless feels safe. In 2008, Pepsi paid between $1 million and $1 billion to redesign their logo. Depending on which source you believe, the change was barely noticeable to most people. They can still look like a Pepsi can. Critics called it one of the most wasteful design decisions in history. But Pepsi knew something critics didn't. Perception, not reality, drives sales. Here's where it gets deeply psychological. People don't just buy brands. They buy identities. When someone buys a Rolex, they aren't buying time-keeping accuracy. There are cheaper watches that keep better time. They're buying what a Rolex says about them. To other people, brands are social signals. They communicate status, tribe, and values without a single word. Psychologists call this in-group signaling. When you wear a Supreme hoodie or carry a Hermes bag, you're sending a message. I belong to this group. And the brain responds to group membership with dopamine, the same chemical released during eating and reproduction. Brands hack this system deliberately. They don't sell products. They sell belonging. Now here's the counterintuitive part. Higher price actually increases perceived quality. Up to a point. This is called the Veblen effect. In one study, people rated the same wine significantly better when they thought it cost $90 versus $10. The wine was identical. The price tag changed their brain chemistry. Luxury brands don't price high despite their quality. They price high to create the perception of quality. Where a logo appears on your body matters enormously. Research from Harvard Business School found that small, discreet luxury logos signal higher status than large, obvious ones. Think a tiny LV monogram or small polo pony. The logic? Subtle logos say, I don't need to prove anything. Bold logos say, I'm trying. The wealthy learn this. The aspirational class is still learning. In 2010, Gap spent $100 million on a logo redesign. The backlash was so severe, they reversed it within a week. In 2009, Tropicana changed their orange juice carton design and lost $30 million in sales in 2 months. Why? Because familiarity is a form of trust. When you change a logo people know, you don't update their perception. You break it. Every logo is a promise. When you see the Apple logo, your brain runs a program. Innovation, simplicity, premium quality. That program was built over decades. And every time Apple delivers a great product, that program strengthens. Branding isn't a logo. Branding is a psychological contract between a company and every human brain that's ever seen their symbol. So what does this mean for someone starting a business today? It means your logo isn't decoration. It's communication. Every color choice, shape, and font is sending signals to your potential customer's brain before they read a single word. The businesses that understand this don't just make better logos. They build better first impressions. And in business, you rarely get a second one. Here's the real reason companies pay millions for a logo. They're not paying for art. They're paying for psychology at scale. A logo that converts 1% more viewers into customers across millions of impressions generates hundreds of millions in revenue. The math isn't about design. It's about human behavior. And human behavior, it turns out, is the most valuable thing you can understand. This is why the world's most valuable companies obsess over a single curve, a single shade of blue, a single typeface, not because they're perfectionists, because they understand that every human decision, including yours, starts not in logic, but in feeling. And feelings start with a logo. If this changed how you see the brand around you, the next video goes even deeper. We're looking at the dark side of overnight success and why it destroys more people than failure ever does.